The Labor Department has just released the jobs report for the month of March. It shows 228,000 jobs were added last month, beating economists' expectations. The unemployment rate now stands at 4.2%. Of course, here to break it all down for us, our economic dream team, NBC News business and data correspondent Brian Chung and Investopedia editor-in-chief Caleb Silver. Good morning to you both. Brian, let's begin with you at the big board. Break down the numbers. What's the new data showing us?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's start off with that unemployment rate figure that you just showed, 4.2%. That's essentially where we were as of a few reports as of late. So you can see that, yeah, it's an improvement from the 6% that we've seen prior to the recovery of the pandemic. But again, historically low, actually still near multi-decade lows on that front. But it was really the job gains themselves with 228,000 jobs coming in for the month of March. That puts us at around here compared to where estimates had us. Again, Wall Street economists were expecting something a little bit closer to 140,000. So this is a much better than expected jobs report and actually outpaces the job gains we had seen in January and February, which had been on the decline. Now, when it comes to some of the industries that we were watching going into this report, I have construction, motor vehicles and parts, and department stores, because these could be the groups that might be impacted by the tariffs going forward. Although I want to point out, this is the March jobs report, so preceded a lot of the tariff action that, of course, we were talking about, which happened this week. But construction jobs actually added 13,000 in the month. Motor vehicle and parts manufacturing basically went flat for the month. And department stores, again, retail, you can imagine if there is a pullback in activity at the Targets and Walmarts of the world, this could get impacted. We did see a contraction of 1.3 thousand jobs in the month. Again, nothing too notable there, but these are the ones that we're going to be watching for that potential tariff impact in the months to come, Emily.
And Caleb, I want to bring you in here. What are your first impressions here? I know you're just beginning to pour over the data. What's standing out to you?
Yeah, I was looking at government jobs because obviously we've had a lot of government layoffs. We've had some furloughs, some of that captured in the data, but not all of it when you know how many jobs have actually been cut. Just about, I think, 4,000 to 11,000 jobs in the government sector, which we know is going to rise when we get this next jobs report in a month from now. So that's where I was expecting a much heavier number. Not all of that recorded or captured in the survey. But when you look across some of the other metrics, the labor force participation rate, wages, average hours of the working week, all of those are pretty stable when you look back over the past 12 months. But what we did see is a revision to the numbers from last month. Job gains actually revised lower to just about 115,000. That was lower than what was reported, and the month before was a little bit lower than reported. So this is much stronger than we expected. I still don't think we have a very clear picture of what's really happening in the labor economy, but this is, again, the rearview mirror report. Things were okay last month. We'll see what happens this month.
And Brian, I want to talk DOGE here. What's your take on the impact of DOGE?
Yeah, well, I mean, Caleb was just saying that we've seen some impact, but not necessarily the full brunt of it, because just before I go into the numbers that we saw in this report, again, as far as the number of federal workers that reportedly accepted the DOGE offer, again, that was as of some time ago, as of February 12th, apparently there were 75,000 federal workers that accepted that quote-unquote buyout offer. First off, as a sliver of the overall workforce of federal employees, if you exclude the Postal Service, that's 2.4 million. 75,000 as a fraction of 2.4 million is not a huge number, but this jobs report doesn't even tell us that 75,000 people were laid off or are no longer working in the federal government. In fact, this report showed us that just a contraction of 3.2 thousand. So again, as Elon Musk and President Trump kind of tout the shrinking of the federal government, we saw a contraction of just 3,000 jobs in the federal workforce in the month of March as a fraction of 2.4 million. That's really small, but it's even a small fraction of the claimed amount of people that were supposed to take the DOGE buyout offer, although there are, of course, some methodological questions about whether or not maybe they won't be classified as not working in the government until the end of that offer period, which I believe the payout is through the end of this year or through maybe the fall of this year. Maybe that's when we start to see the full impact of that. We'll have to watch.
Yeah, we'll continue to watch for those numbers to come. Caleb, I've got one more for you as we are now getting into the second quarter of the year. How much were the last 3 months an indicator of how the jobs market could play out as the year goes on?
I don't think we can learn anything from that because we know our economy is being turned upside down right now, completely reshaped through these tariffs. And when you think about some of the demand destruction that's happening, not just because of tariffs, which are a consumption tax, but a lot of the market cap, a lot of the companies' stocks are way down and they're going to fall again today. That's demand destruction that doesn't give companies a lot of incentive to hire, and especially if there's not demand on the other side from consumers and businesses who are going to be dealing with higher prices. We got a 10% across the board global tariff, so That's 10% on top of everything. And now we have reciprocal tariffs against many countries that we get a lot of parts from. And now we have retaliatory tariffs from China. So you can take the last 3 months and say, OK, that was what the economy was. This today, as of yesterday and Tuesday, really Liberation Day going forward, this is a brand new economy, and it's going to look very different, I would say, 6 months from now and a year from now.
All right. A big thank you to our economic dream team. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.